Now, if you are sick and tired of narcissistic people bullying you, harassing you, attacking you, then it's time to cage them up. That's right. We're going to talk about putting narcissists into a cage. My name is Kevin, and this is The Royal We. Now, before we get into this important message about caging up narcissistic, abusive people, I want to let you know that I'm here for one-on-one support. Down in the description box, you'll find access to my calendar where you can schedule some one-on-one time with me. Now then, we are talking about caging up narcissistic people from your life. In this message, we're going to talk about what it means to cage something up. And then we're going to talk about how to develop and implement your cage in this life. So first of all, when we're talking about caging something up, how do we typically look at a cage? What purpose does a cage even serve? Too many of us oftentimes think that a cage is only to keep something trapped in. But I want to ask you, for the purpose of this message, to look at a cage as a different purpose, and that is to keep something out of. And that's really what we want to do when we're talking about narcissistic abuse. You don't want to cage a narcissist into your life. You want to implement a cage that keeps narcissistic abuse out of your life, right? Let me give you an example. If you look at jail or prison, for example, oftentimes it's looked at as just the punishment is within. You're confining a person within the jail, within the cage. But really, what it's about is keeping certain people, when they do things wrong, it's about keeping them out of areas where they have done something wrong. That's what the purpose of a cage is. It's not just about caging something in, it's about caging something out, right? And so this is the mindset that we need to develop with narcissistic abusive people. You want to cage them, not into something, you want to cage them out of something, out of your life, out of the ability to bully you, out of the ability to harass you. That's what we're talking about when we're talking about caging them. So I want you to mentally imagine a cage that you can place narcissistic people into that's going to keep them away from you and out of your life. It's going to keep their bullying tactics far away from you. So let's talk about how to develop this particular cage that we're talking about and how to implement it, right? First of all, understand that you are separate from the narcissistic person. You're not like them. You don't think like them. You're not one of them. So it doesn't matter what the narcissistic person has been through in life. It doesn't matter what their life looks like. It doesn't matter if they operate with some kind of a alpha male or alpha female mentality. You keep yourself separate from that world. This is the first and foremost thing that you need to do when dealing with narcissists. This is the first thing you need to do with any type of creature that displays those alpha mentality characteristics. Like, let's take dogs, for example. Now, it's known that dogs run in packs, and within the packs, there's alpha dogs and there's beta dogs, whatever you call them, right? Submissive dogs, okay? Now, if you act like a dog and you get on all fours and you run around and start sniffing butts and licking nuts and doing whatever dogs do, they're going to treat you like you are a part of their pack, and therefore they're going to implement their alpha mentality over you and attack you, right? So that's the first and foremost thing, is you need to separate yourself. And I want to add that what's really interesting about dogs that I've discovered is that dogs will even consider their human owners as part of their pack initially. And so this is why dogs will oftentimes lash out, bark, and growl and bite even their owners, is because they look at them as being a part of their pack. So it's the owner's responsibility to say, I ain't a part of that pack. I ain't down there sniffing your butt. You can be alpha down there with the other dogs, but with me, I can put you in a cage, right? And what it means when a human owner puts a dog in a cage, especially a vicious alpha-style dog, it's not about the dog being confined in a space. It's about the dog being locked out of where the fun is. So the dog's sitting there wagging its tail with its ears up and looking at all the other dogs having a good time. And it's like, oh, I'm in here and I can't have fun. That's the punishment. And if the dog's smart, it learns its lesson. Okay, I don't cross the the gate master. I don't cross the cage keeper. And this is where you want to be with narcissistic people. You want to be the gate master. You want to be the cage keeper, which means you operate differently than that whole alpha narcissistic character area. You stand tall. You stand as the human amongst the dogs. And that separates yourself. Okay? And you implement the cage by saying that, no, you cross me, and I'll put you behind that cage. You have no access to me, right? So you may be an alpha narcissist in your little pack that you run with. You can fight over there, that's fine. But as for me, when it comes to me, listen, I hold the keys as to what supply I give you, right? Just like an owner of a dog that's a wild alpha dog. That owner has the right to say, I feed you, sucker. You can be alpha in your pack, but I will take my supply, my food away from you. You best learn that. And this is how you need to be with narcissistic people who want access into your life. Okay, keep in mind, narcissistic people want something from you. They want access into your life for some reason: sex, money, food. Look at all these things as though you being the one in control of these things. You have control of your own supply. You have control of the food that you give a narcissistic person. If they want into your life, you understand the authority then that you have. You say, I don't play those games. You can be over there in your pack of narcissistic people, alpha, but as for me, I will cage you. Meaning I will cut you off from the freedom of my supply. You don't have freedom in my supply. You're not going to alpha me into giving you. I'm not going to roll over so you can sniff my nuts. I'm not doing that for you. If you want what I have, then you will submit, because I'm not going to play that game with you. This is the development of that cage mentality. So again, to summarize this, your cage mentality with narcissists, it's not about locking them into something. It's about locking their narcissistic behavior out. Now, when you lock a person's behavior out, they may start to change. They may get it. They may see the areas where they don't cross you, and they might start to implement, and that's fine. Maybe you can have a relationship that way. It's possible. But there's also the chance that they never change. You can lock them out. You can stop feeding them supply, and they still don't get it, right? Because that part of their brain is still, it's even more underdeveloped than that of a wild alpha male dogs, right? They don't get it. You put them in a cage, you lock them out, they come back out of the cage, and they still do the same things. They still bully, harass, try to dominate you. So eventually, you lock that cage for good. And oftentimes, this is what permanent no contact looks like. Listen, I can't keep feeding you because you are so far gone. You are so far gone that you are a constant threat to this area. So I've got to close that cage permanently and send you out, right? And then let that narcissistic person be somebody else's problem, right? Perhaps somebody else is more equipped to deal with that form of aggression. All you have to understand is that it's not for you. Listen, I want to be a part of your healing journey. Down below in the description box, you'll find access to my calendar where you can schedule some one-on-one time with me. Telephone calls, WhatsApp, FaceTime video calls. It's all down below. Also down below, you'll find access to Monday Night Live chat. So be sure to find that link down below. And Saturday morning is Royal We Fellowship, an in-depth Bible study as it pertains to understanding this world of narcissism. Be sure to follow me on Instagram, and I'll be back with more videos for you right here on the Royal We.